Hello, Trophy Hunters. I had a chance to play several hours of Watchdog Legions, and instead of just kind of giving you a walkthrough of a main story mission or two, I've decided to kind of do a video kind of showing how I'm going to be playing this game as a trophy hunter, as someone who likes to 100% complete games. A lot of my time with this game is going to be with the side activities, all the other random stuff you can do. So I'm just going to kind of present my time showing you kind of the experience that I had approaching this, not really focused on the main story, but more focused on the random stuff. Just as a side note, I did have to stream this to my computer from Ubisoft because of COVID. Remote play was required, and I know this is only at 1080p, so it's actually going to be higher quality, hopefully, when this launches. Now, this is an early story mission. This is a very, very good showcase for what the reflections can do. There's some off-screen reflections there with an orange light. You can see the reflections on the floor, the shadows from the light from the stained glass above me here, and you can see on the left side there's the shadow of the statue as it's coming reflecting on the floor. I don't know how much ray tracing is involved here, but it feels like a whole lot. I am really interested to see if Digital Foundry will go and take a closer look at this, because it looks like a whole lot of ray tracing, which is very, very intensive process. So I'm really interested to see the breakdown of how this scene looks, which is not a surprise why this is one of the first missions they show us in this demo experience, because it is such a flagship looking scene, especially this hallway. Look at the chandelier lights from above reflecting on the floor below, in addition to the stained glass light coming from up and to the left, and then of course the statue reflections in the floor. I mean, there's so much detail here that I really am interested in a breakdown, and because this was kind of capped at 1080p and I was streaming it remotely, I mean, not unlike you would play a PlayStation Now type title. Of course, this is a little bit better quality than that. But I'm actually really, really impressed with the visuals of this scene. There are a lot of other areas that don't look quite as pretty as this. But in general, there are a lot of things about this game that are incredibly good. Now, this is another main story mission, but I've kind of completed most of the tasks I had to do here, and I found this hidden room. And behind this room, you can see on the mini-map, there's a big square green icon. Now, somewhere else in this building, I found a key that I was able to download from a laptop that allowed me to then open the store. And inside here, I'm going to get some tech points. These are what you use to buy upgrades. You can buy a whole bunch of different tools, gadgets. You can upgrade them even to from level 1, level 2 to level 3. So you use those tech points, and the tech points are cleverly hidden in various spots in this game that are kind of more like a puzzle. And that's something like Watch Dogs 1 and 2 did. And that is something I really, really appreciated. Here's another example. The icon is on the mini-map in the bottom corner. You can see it easily, but the challenge is just trying to figure out how to reach it. And the puzzles are very simple. For the most part, some of them are more difficult than the others, but I really do appreciate that aspect of the game, because it really just kind of keeps my mind focused. I don't kind of start going in autopilot mode, going from one story beat to the next. Having this engaging side activity is, important. Now, here's another collectible. This is actually an actual collectible. I'm just going to let you see the top left corner there. 601. Hopefully we don't have to find all 601 of them. Holy cow, I'll let you guys post in the comments how you feel about that. It's way too early to determine if it's too many. I mean, at first blush, of course, but without actually having access to the full game, maybe it doesn't feel as bad as that. I don't know. But here is a combat section here. I'm going to kind of walk through this. I'm not going to go through a whole lot of the combat sections, but here's a good example. I'm just going to use some of my tools. I'm going to, of course, stealth. Now, I'm using a character because you can recruit any character in the game. This is one of the characters I kind of started off with. She has an ability to call friends to help. Every one of the characters you can play as has kind of like a special, unique ability. Here, I took control of a drone, and then I brought it way over there and then hit R1 to flash. And that's going to draw the attention of another enemy, actually outside of the restricted area, which will be nice for me. As soon as I grab and knock out this person, I'm going to then use the distraction moving a car. It's not going to distract anyone because there's no other enemies there, but it's an example of how you can use hacking in this game to cause distractions. And the combat can be approached so many different ways. And because the characters all have different abilities, one of them's a spy, and there's going to be musicians, and there's going to be propaganda people, and construction workers. There's so many different types of people, and it actually kind of feels like, yes, you can recruit every single one of them. You can recruit anyone you see. When you hover over them, you have an opportunity to recruit them, and then you have to do little recruitment missions in order to actually get them on your team. And again, all of them have different bonuses now. You can do anyone in the world. You can recruit anyone. I feel like it works like Borderlands does with their guns. There's a certain set of stats that can pull from, and it just kind of randomly generates a character, basically, from certain pools of skill. Now, here's a mini game. This is a soccer mini game. You got to hit L2, R2. Once you get to the second level, it also includes L1 and R1. You'll also notice that I'm actually playing this with a PlayStation controller using Xbox controller prompts on the screen, so it was a little hard for me to kind of process that in some cases. But here's one of my favorite activities, drinking beer, of course. Now, in this mall area, I'm going to do some other stuff. Now, I'm going to switch characters because she's going to be drunk for a while. So we're going to have this guy out here, and we're going to go and visit Nelson's Men's Fashion. Of course, you can customize and upgrade your character's look. Also in this mall area, there is another tech point you can see on the mini-map in the corner. So here's, again, another puzzle. But this character has only one way to reach this, and that is going to be hacking this camera over here and then hacking the spider box. Now, the construction worker can actually get a cargo drone, or any character if there's one nearby, but the construction worker can just summon one at will and then actually just go up to the roof itself and then use a spider bot. So there's a couple different ways you can approach so many different things in this game, especially just like the combat in missions itself. It's very open-ended, but also in the open world. Each character is going to have a little kind of different play style to it, and it really kind of, I think really the big question is how you're going to relate to each individual character. Are you going to develop some sort of bond to them? Are you going to feel bad if one gets injured? If it successfully does that, this game is actually going to be incredible. If you don't have any kind of attachment to the characters, it's going to be a little bit of a... I think people might be a little concerned about that.
Hey, Fab. This is Sir to talk
A lot of
about
people
Dr.
didn't really like the
Alfred
protagonists in maybe the first game or the second game or both of them. So if you're one of those people that had issues with the protagonist, having basically an infinite number of them may not be for you, but I actually really enjoyed it. In fact, this construction worker, his name is Jeff. I did not assign that name, it was assigned to him. And here's a section where I just completed a main story mission, but I'm going to go and get a collectible that's hidden behind this barrier. So I had to use two different tools, a drone here, and then the spider bot. And this one's actually kind of interesting. It's one of 5. It's kind of its own little section of collectibles here. And you can see on the right, it has a cryptid message. I'm wondering what that leads to. Maybe more secrets. I'm really excited. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, by the way, if you're going to get this game and you're going to do some trophy hunting, because I'll have plenty of guides for you when this game comes out. And there is another tech point, and it's actually in the same section. All right, so after that, I just had to go play a little darts. Darts makes its return. You have that kind of pulsing target area, and you got to kind of use your analog stick, the left one, to kind of zero in here on the center as it pulses. It's not as easy as you think. Now I just need a double 1 in order to win this, and unfortunately I missed, and of course he's going to get his double 19, win the game. So I am defeated, but I am going to try again, this time with a little twist. Let's go ahead and drink up, head back over to the dartboard, and you know darn well there's going to be a trophy tied to this somehow. There's an easy, medium, and difficult, hard difficulty with this. So imagine for the platinum, we may have to do the hardest difficulty. I just did beginner. You may have to do it drunk. You may not have to. I'm kind of curious where the trophies will go with that. Here's some of my operatives. You can see the potential recruits at the bottom. Those are the people I saw on the street and just R1 and said, hey, I want you part of my team. I still have to do their missions. But you can see each character has unique weapons. This guy has a spy car. He has a silenced pistol. You can, of course, customize the skin. You have to purchase it with credits. And here's another operative. I'm going to actually recruit this guy because he has one of the special abilities is he has a certain uniform. That uniform allows me to access restricted areas. In fact, the one just next to us here on the mini-map. If I had him already recruited, I can go into those restricted areas without being seen. Well, usually not being seen. You can't stick around too long because they'll eventually catch on to you. But here's another hacking program using the spider bot. I love the spider bot, by the way. Absolutely love the model and the animation of it. Here's just a random delivery mission you can do. These just kind of refresh. These are just for some credits if you need them. I seriously doubt any of them are going to be required for the platinum. However, I'm only showing this clip because I'm going to hop in the car and look at the reflections of this car. It is absolutely gorgeous. And again, this is capped at 1080p. I streamed it, so having the PS5 disc at home would be, I'm really super excited. Now, this is running on PC, not PS5. It's very important to make that distinction. But just the reflections of this car is just amazing. It really, really does truly look next gen. Certain parts, that specifically really did. And of course, that first clip in the beginning. All right, so now I'm back in the bar where I got the drink and played darts earlier. It was kind of a home base. Coming outside and look at just this world. It's beautiful. I don't really have a good shot of the puddles, but the reflections of the puddles here are just really detailed, really incredible. A nice a view of London. I've never been to London and would love to go to London one day. This is going to be kind of like a fun little sequence here. There's going to be a collectible here. This is number 6. I think I got 13 by the end of my... it's just a little over 3 hours of playtime. All right, so now I'm going to hop into this car here. I'm going to go ahead and hack it to stop it, and I'm going to hop into it. First off, people drive on the wrong side of the road. It ain't me. It's everyone else in this game. But we're going to have a little fun sequence here. I'm going to stop this white car, and I'm going to kind of start messing with it. Look at my reflection, by the way, in the car. Oh, so beautiful. Now I'm going to make it go forward. I'm going to make it go back. Look at this bus. Watch this bus. Oh! I feel a little guilty for doing that, but look at my reflection of this car pulling up. Oh, it just looks so good.
I'm in your debt. You want to pay us back? We could use people.
So let's go ahead and let's drive some more. Driving, I don't feel like is much improved from the previous games. If you didn't like it, you're not going to like this, unfortunately. But again, I think there was some latency issue because of the streaming aspect and component of this. Now you can see, because even though if people drive on the wrong side of the road, I can still move cars out of the way, which is kind of very helpful for me, since I apparently drive wrong. And then this guy, look at this cab. It's an auto-driving cab, and it looks the same on the front and the back. So if it's in front of you, you don't know if it's coming towards you or driving away from you. So here's Katie Cochran, or Cochran? She's a paramedic. She has the triage ability. She also plays music, has the medical uniform, and this is a very important character. This is actually one of the highlighted characters that you want to recruit. They'll have little green dots on their on the mini map and above their heads. Also photo mode, yay. I didn't play with it very much. Here's another collectible. Again, it's a puzzle element to it. Again, I really love the unique way. It's not just simply walk to a spot on the map and then hit a button. You have to use your brain, and I think that just helps me when I'm connecting the different story beats to be able to, you know, kind of have to focus in on those little puzzle elements. Back in the boat, there's this floating barge. I haven't figured out what these floating barges here in the middle do. This one actually has a turret on there. I guess you'd have to use the blocker to disable the turret that's there. I didn't really play much with that. I'm sure there's something more tied to it. I didn't, of course, find all the different collectible types in the game, or all the different side activities. I did as much as I could. Now I'm playing as Jeff the construction worker. Now you can see I'm on a construction site, so my uniform matches the environment, and you can see these people, these enemies, the bad guys, they don't quite know you're out of place unless you stick around too close to them for too long, which is why it's really cool that you could switch between the different characters at will, depending on the environment you're in. Of course, here's just an old school hack. You guys are very familiar with this if you played the previous games. You can set a trap, then attract an enemy into it. Of course, we're going to shroud them so people can't see. Doing some more driving here. This is that autonomous cab that looks like you can't tell if it's coming or going. Nice reflection on the entire dome of the car, though. All right, so here's we can do another recruit. There's also a spider bot. We're gonna come to him in just a second, but here's another one of the important recruits you want to get. This is a protest leader, can rally people to fight alongside him. They has a gas immunity with the bandana. You can disorient enemies. So again, every type of character has a different skill set. You can find two different people that are very similar, but they're still going to have different skills, I think, because again, like the Borderlands randomization with the guns, I think it's kind of doing the same thing here. So back to the spider bot, another little puzzle to get to another collectible. Again, 601 of just those. Then there's other types of collectibles. Here's like a paint spot. I noticed a little icon on the mini-map, so I went out of my way to get to this spot. Remember that paramedic Katie that we got earlier? Well, she has a special knockout ability. When she does a knockout blow, she'll use her paddles. Each of the different types, like the spy and the construction worker, they have different finishing moves when you do melee, which is kind of cool. This is the same area, just different character, another collectible. I think that would be my final one. So if I can't drive down the right side of the road, well, I'm going to just drive down a pedestrian bridge. I thought it was just pretty with the blue lights. Figured I'd show it. I'm honking my horn, by the way. Don't worry, I'm not going to try to run over pedestrians. Of course, we have our another hacking mini game here. This returned. I have actually really kind of liked these puzzles. It really kind of forces you to think, and then sometimes if you just don't know what you're doing, you just randomly start turning things and it works. But I like that, and of course you switch cameras to get a different angle on it. Of course, here's the cargo drone. The construction worker can call it at will, but there are cargo drones around the rest of the world. So if you find a character that has and a cargo drone around it, you can use any character can use it, but the construction worker can call it himself. So that's basically it. This is kind of the end of my session. They told me I had a few minutes left, so I decided to grab this big military vehicle and just start driving into everything because, you know, why not? It's fun. I really think this game is very familiar, very similar to the previous games. The hook, of course, is the ability to recruit anyone in the game. How many different character models, how many different voices, I have no idea. But you can indeed recruit anyone in the game. I really hope there's like secret characters, like maybe a clown. You recruit the clown for a trophy. Maybe you recruit the clown and then walk into a pie shop or something like that. I really hope they do those fun kind of miscellaneous, what I call circus trophies, which is appropriate if you had to go find a clown. But different characters, unique characters like that. So thank you guys for watching. I do have a preview of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Make sure you guys subscribe. See you soon.